you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride. Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here on a Tuesday or a Wednesday if you're listening in national syndication. Taking a week off for 4th of July as well as Canada Day. I think that's always kind of cool how they kind of coincide there, Hood, where, I don't know, we got a little, I don't know, what are we, within like a day or two of each other? What day is Canada Day? What's the date?
Well, we beat you guys. It's July 1st. So we're founded before y'all.
Yeah, you've got us by a couple of days, at least your birthday anyways. But, yeah, we had Canada Day. We had 4th of July. We took a week off, and there was a ton going on while we were gone. I was at Mount Washington in New Hampshire hanging out with my friends at Subaru this past weekend with Travis Pastrana, David Higgins. Travis Pastrana shattering the old record held by David Higgins. We got some exclusive interviews with Pastrana we're going to air later on in the show. I'm going to talk about that, talk about some of the fun I had in New Hampshire. And I know Amy's down in Florida. We got a lot to talk about with her. We've got some news out of ESPN. The ESPY Awards are going on. We're going to talk the Action Sports ESPY Awards, the voting that's out there. We're also going to talk about X Games. Got my friend Chris Leone from Global Rallycross. He's calling in. We got Joe Duncan, who's on the floor at the X Games. He's going to be calling in. So we got a packed show today here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You definitely want to be locked and loaded here for the next 2 hours. We'll be back after this.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, back after our week and a half, 2-week break. But thanks to all you who are tuning into Project Action over those 2 weeks. Dropped a big X Games preview there. Had a big interview with my friend Matt Martelli. That's still available over there on Podcast One or iTunes. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. And if you leave a review and leave your Twitter, Instagram @username, I'll definitely follow you back over there. Same goes for the Down and Dirty Radio Show. And don't forget, we got episode 300 coming at you. I believe it's August 1st, August 2nd, whatever that Tuesday is. Episode 300. I just got news today, Amy. You're on the payroll for an extra hour next month because the national network, and this isn't easy to do. I pitched him like 4 months ago when we were going to blow this deal up. I pitched him and I said, hey, what is the odds that I can get an extra hour of national airtime? And they go, well, they said, we're going to have to get one of our other national hosts to give you an hour. And I said, well, is it possible that we can do that? And they said, well, let us go to work. It's going to take a while to put this. Well, I got an email yesterday, and it said that however they worked it, one of the hosts on the national network is giving us an hour of their airtime. So we are going to have, for episode 300, a 3-hour show. First time we've ever done that. I think you and I did one at the Mint 400 that was 3 hours, but we've never done a 3-hour show. It's not going to be like a full-time deal. It's just that one episode because we're going to pack it with some of the best guests in motorsports and action sports. So I wanted an extra hour for you and I to, have some fun. So how's that sound for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that sounds awesome. And that's pretty cool that somebody else gave up their hour. But that just means that they want to have an extra hour of, holiday time. Yeah,
exactly. So, 3 hours coming at you the first week of August. We're working on the guest list right now. Hopefully we can start dropping some names the next couple of weeks. Should be a lot of fun. But speaking of a lot of fun, I was in New Hampshire. I don't know if you've ever been up to that area of the country, Amy. I don't know. Wasn't too far from, I think, Montreal maybe. But it was I got a chance to they called it alpine sliding, but basically it was bobsledding. They've got a ski resort there in New Hampshire, and we had like an entire afternoon to kill, right? So they have this ski resort in New Hampshire. Well, obviously, summertime, there's no snow. So they literally lay down a bobsled track down this mountain. And it's a couple, I'd say it's probably, it's maybe a couple miles long. But you're on these they call them alpine slides. But basically they've got wheels on the bottom. And you've got and basically you're in a tube just like you see bobsledding in the Olympics, and you've got a handle. And if you push it forward, it releases the brake, and you start rolling down the hill. And then if you pull back on it, it actually you can brake on the wheels, right? But you're flying down these tubes down this mountain, and I got to tell you, it was so ridiculously fun. I don't know. It's one of those things. If you guys ever get a chance to try alpine sliding, they call it, which is just basically bobsledding. But I'm literally people in our group were flying off the track and literally getting bloody and bruised. And you have to sign a disclaimer to do this. But there was somebody Like there's no fail safe. Like there was somebody, I guess last year, didn't hit the brakes at the end of the run, and it starts putting up these signs of start braking, start braking, start braking. Like if you don't brake, you fly off the end of the track, and there's a fence, and I guess somebody got their head stuck between the fence and the dirt, and they had to call in basically a construction crew to remove this fence so the person could get their heads out of it. And I'm looking at this, and we're all looking at each other. I'm like, how is this actually legal? And they haven't had a lawsuit yet. Because I'm looking at this going like, you could literally die doing this. And you're not wearing helmets or anything. You're literally just on this sled. And I'm like, how are we getting away with doing this? And this is still actually operational. I don't know. I was just... I don't know. Maybe it's one of those secrets up in New Hampshire that that nobody's figured out about yet. Because I don't know. Here in the States, you know how people down here are. They sue for everything. But I don't know. You ever done anything like that?
For everything, yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But I saw your photos and stuff, and I can't believe that they're not even making helmets mandatory. At least that looks wild. And actually, bobsledding is one of like the most dangerous winter sports out there. Like just the speeds that they go up to, it's insane.
Yeah. Well, in these tubes, like if you didn't brake for corners, I was threading the needle towards the end, like I was figuring it out where you could really pick up speed. But it's one of those things, like it's not some sissy deal like at Disneyland where there's brakes, but you don't have to hit them. Like if you don't hit the brakes, you're flying off the track. It's not, it's not like it was, you have to hit the brakes on some of these corners. It was kind of mind boggling that, that's actually legal, but I'm good with it. It was fun. So I'm definitely going to dial it in. But I don't know, what have you been up to? You've been off for I don't know, 2 weeks. I know you're down in Florida now. How's the beach life treating you?
Oh, the island time is great. Other than yesterday I stepped in a fire ant hill. Like, we don't have any of that stuff up in Canada. We have regular ants. Like, my whole front yard is basically a small continent of ants. It's horrible. But down here you guys got like fire ants, and I stepped in one of their homes, and I looked down, and I kind of wasn't really paying attention, and I looked down, and my whole foot was like red, covered with them. And so now I got these bites all over my feet and my ankles, and it's just horrible, and I'm sitting here scratching as I talk to you guys. But that's horrible. Other than that, Florida's way too hot for me. I thought I liked the heat, and now I have to deal with like perpetuous sweating and then fire ants. So Canada's looking pretty good right about now.
Yeah, well, fire. That's legit. Like, there's been people die from fire ants that had allergies and things like that. It's not like you get bit by one. You get bit by. No, you're fine now. If you haven't died, you're good to go. It would have been pretty instantaneous, pretty sure. So, but no, like, but you seriously, with fire ants, you don't get bit by one. It's not like one ant bites you. You're sitting in the grass and one bites you. It's like you get attacked. You're mauled by those ants. Like, I can only imagine what your foot looks like. How'd you get them off? Were you like whacking them, or did you have to spray water?
No, I ran right into the ocean. I was pretty much on the corner of the beach. We were barbecuing, had a grill out and everything, and it just completely wrecked my barbecue picnic on the beach. Like, come on, guys. Like, I'm a tourist. I'm trying to appreciate my surroundings, and then I just literally get mauled, and I ran into the water, and I didn't really even notice it. Like, it burned and everything, but the next day I had all these, red, white bumps all over my feet, and I cannot stop scratching, and it is horrible. I hate it.
Yeah. Have you, I know.
I'd rather take a digger on my dirt bike, to be 100% honest. I'd rather, get a little road rash than have to deal with these stupid fire ants.
No joke. I agree with you there. I was wakeboarding one time and had a big old horsefly, big old black horsefly cut outside of the wake to cut over, and this horsefly went down my life jacket and stung me in the middle of the chest. And I was like you said, I think I'd rather wreck in a race car or take a dinger on a dirt bike or anything any day than get stung by that thing. My chest swelled up and everything, and I'm like, this is not fun. Like, it can just definitely ruin your day, and it's like I'd much rather be.
I had a similar thing when I was racing, and then we could probably tell funny bug stories on our race vehicles of all times, but. Same thing. I was racing, and actually had back-to-back moto. So I was in the first moto, and my goal is to get a pretty good lead so it can allow me some time on the line for my next moto. Well, I mean, of course, I was in the lead, but a wasp flew into my jersey as I was racing and stung me so many times. And I wanted to win, so obviously I didn't think anything of it. Adrenaline kicks in, mind over matter when you're racing. Well, as soon as I pulled off the line, I had to go over to pulled off the track. I had to go right over to the line. Well, I looked like a crazy person because here I am. Here, pretty much ghost rode my bike into somebody, like some dad standing there, hold my bike, and I'm ripping my jersey off, and like there is like probably 5 or 6 bites from this wasp on my back, and I just looked nuts until people were like, hey, what's going on? Because I'm just like freaking out, ripping my jersey off, like scratching, like it was definitely a sight to see. But I lined up and went back on for my next race. But that was wild. That was a wild experience for sure.
One of the craziest ones in trophy trucks were open cockpit, and we got to go to a break, so I'll make this one quick. But I was literally tapped out going up the wash at one of these races, and I was going 100 miles an hour, and a bird flew out in front of the truck, went in the cab, hit me in the face shield, and all of a sudden I'm going, it was like boom, and I hit it so fast. I mean, it hit my head back. I get off the gas, I can't see because there's blood all over my face shield, so I'm wiping it and everything else. We get into the pits, and I'm like, I need, the next pit I pull over there, what's going on? I'm like, give me a wet rag, and they're like, what happened? I'm like, I went dove hunting, and they literally in the floorboard of the truck is a dead dove, and it just literally
my God,
knocked me silly. But true story there. But we got to take a break. When we come back, Chris Leone, resident Red Bull Global Rallycross expert, he's going to be on the line talking about the big race in Indianapolis over the weekend. So all that and more coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, joined on the line by my good friend Chris Leone. This is our Red Bull Global Rallycross Curtain Call segment. How's everything going, Chris? Oh, Chris dropped off there. I guess we're going to air him again. Hey, how's everything going, Chris?
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Good, man, good. So I got to put you on the spot. Amy and I, we opened this thing, and we never know how the heck this show is going to go in the opening segment. But we got into being chased and bitten by wildlife and bugs and hit by birds and insects and everything else. You got to tell us, at some point in your life, you've been attacked by some kind of creepy crawler or a dog or something. I mean, what's your best wildlife story? What has Chris Leone been attacked by?
I'm sorry to offer nothing to this discussion, but I have never been attacked by wildlife, Jim. I am usually staying in the car when I'm driving through the woods, and I haven't been camping in at least 15 years. So sorry about that. I can't help you.
Oh, man, you are man, we were looking for something really good, like something in Boston. Well, you've been attacked by anything in Boston, human? You live in Boston. I mean, you've been attacked by anything there, human-wise?
Do bicyclists count? Because our bicyclists are not very bright.
Yeah, bicycles absolutely count, man. I could, if you took a dinger from a bicycle, we'll count it.
Well, thankfully, working in motorsport, you have to have a pretty decent reaction time. So managed to avoid it, but yeah, we've had some idiots riding up the wrong way on the sidewalk. Actually, the funniest thing about the bicyclists is we were just up in Ottawa a few weeks ago for our first Canadian event as part of GRC, and I'm driving through the city. I'm trying to get to a dinner meeting, and and there's a bicyclist right near me, and it's a fairly narrow street, and the bicyclist is obeying the traffic laws and stopping at red lights. And living in Boston, you're not used to bicyclists respecting traffic laws and stopping at red lights. So it was a pleasant surprise, and I'd like to shout out our Canadian friends up there who seem to know what to do when they're on the road on two wheels. But Boston bicyclists, it's why I just have a stationary bike. I stay off the road.
You got one of those
I do have to say, us fellow
Go for it, Amy.
I do have to say, my fellow Canadians and we definitely do follow the traffic laws when it comes to cyclists compared to down in America, because I remember going to even California and having the motorcyclists weaving in and out and going through traffic and through the cars. That's just something you do not see in Canada, and it scares the crap out of me.
Motorcyclists scare the living crap out of me.
Do it.
Yeah, they scare me. Had that happen in rush hour traffic in Phoenix yesterday, guy weaving in and out, and I'm pretty aware of things that are happening around me, but when a motorcyclist at, 80 comes up and you guys are in 40-mile-an-hour traffic and you're trying to switch lanes or something like that, I mean, it's just amazing they don't get clipped more often. And I'm a total motorcycle guy, but I think sometimes people on bikes, they don't realize how at risk they're putting themselves. But we're going to talk about some Red Bull Global Rallycross here, Chris. We could yak on just random traffic all day, but man, Indianapolis, we got a lot to talk about because it's been a while since we had you on the show. But I wasn't there. Obviously, I was at Mount Washington with Subaru, who was pulling double duty on the weekend, both at Mount Washington and at Red Bull Global Rallycross. So I got to see that side of Subaru. But Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis. It doesn't matter if it's drag racing, NASCAR, IndyCar, motocross, supercross, anything that happens in Indy, it's always special. I mean, how was this event? This is the first time that Red Bull GRC had been at Indy. How was the event?
Oh, absolutely. We had a fantastic time out at Lucas Oil Raceway. We had a great crowd. We had a fun track to drive. It was, it's not the most technically complex track that GRC has ever built, admittedly, but, that being said, if a track races well and if a track puts on good action, quite frankly, I think it's irrelevant what the course looks like. And, this one produced a lot of exciting racing. We had a lot of races where it would come down to the last driver standing, and That's always something that's a really interesting challenge to have to face. Just to be able to make it out of 5 or 6 laps. If you've got a track where you're lucky sometimes to be able to survive that, then you've got a challenging track. You've got the potential for, some really interesting and fantastic racing. We had that a couple of times. We had a couple of race sessions where, there were a few drivers who ran into some problems here and there, and, it was a matter of if you could make it to the finish line, you could get some major, major points. The finals had some really interesting wheel-to-wheel battles. We had a couple of first lap, just some portions where drivers were, both going for the same line, and you get some contact. I'm sure everybody saw Oliver Eriksson get fully sideways in that supercar final and managed to save it and come out of it with his best supercar finish. So, we had some really exciting racing. It was, obviously it was a huge morale booster for both the Volkswagen Andretti team in supercar and Dreyer and Reinbold Racing in lights to both take victories when they're based within half an hour of Lucas Oil Raceway. It's always nice to have home races for some of our teams where they can bring their friends and family out. And, we had a number of race teams with local connections in this event. And, obviously it was very special for them to be able to take some hometown victories. But, we had a great crowd. We had a great response. We had a lot of media on site. They seemed to be loving it. It was quite a bit different from the NASCAR and IndyCar stuff that they're used to. So, just all in all, a fun event and a great way to kind of round out this crazy push of an event every 2 or 3 weeks and then start getting into the returning events for Atlantic City, Seattle, and Los Angeles, with which we will cap off the season.
Yeah, you guys have a bit of a break now. It's got to be kind of nice to have, a 3-4 week break before the next one? Get a bit of a breather now, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that, over the course of the season, you start accumulating all this content. You start accumulating all these things on the to-do list, and, that's what the next it's about a full month. It's 5 weekends between Indianapolis and Atlantic City, so, we'll be rolling out a lot of content that just kind of recaps the season so far. We'll be, getting caught up on some of those things and preparing for a mad dash to the championship in the second half of the year. We've got a fairly close battle between the top 3 in supercar points with Tanner Faust still leading, but Scott Speed catching up and Steve Arpin still hanging tough in third. And then we'll see if anybody can catch Cyril Raymond in GRC lights, because there are a couple of drivers who seem to be right up there, but Cyril has really been dodging the bad luck that has claimed a couple of races from everybody. He's only had one race like that. And even the race where he DNF'd, he was running second until his incident. So, he's kind of been a class above so far. But the crazy thing about GRC is that anything can happen, especially in the lights class where it's a spec car and it's all about driver skill. And, Cyril has had them all beaten by just a little bit on that so far. But you never know what's going to happen in the final 5 rounds of the year, especially with, 2 of our events, Atlantic City and Seattle, being doubleheaders.
Yeah, well, and one of the things I wanted to talk about, too, I think one of the big surprises, I think both out of lights and supercar this year, and I don't want to say surprise because I don't mean it as a knock on the guy because he's one of my best friends in racing, but Steve Arpin has been a pleasant surprise this year. I mean, he's going to he's going to battle with the juggernauts, and that's Andretti Volkswagen, and Steve is an independent team. I mean, in a very small team. I mean, they represent themselves very well, but it's not like they've got an army of 30 guys, employees or something like that. It's very small, but I think it's remarkable to see an independent team, that has that drive and determination like Steve Arpin does and Lowenbro for them to be doing as well as they are and taking a lot of victories this year.
Oh, absolutely. And it is impossible to overstate just how hard that group is working. They only have 6 full-time employees, Steve has told me. And, Steve, unlike a lot of other drivers in this paddock, Steve is the general manager of that team. He's not just driving, he's running the show. which is something that a lot of drivers in GRC have never had to approach, at least in this series. And yeah, you're right. They've been doing a fantastic job. Steve took the points lead for the very first time in his career in Ottawa. And, it just goes to show that over the course of a few years, as you adapt to rallycross, as you adapt particularly to the Red Bull GRC style of rallycross and, running heat races for points rather than on time, and running, with the 70-foot tabletop jump on every single race course. It's something where, we saw Steve come in and he had a couple of decent runs as a rookie. Then the next year he took a podium for the first time. The year after that he took a few. Last year he got his first victory, and this year he has his first multi-win season and led the points for the first time. It's something where, if you're able to give it enough time, and if you're patient, and if you know how to kind of control the chaos going out there, you can really make some progress as a driver. And, after a couple of years, you can start contending for championships. And Steve is definitely the story there.
Yeah. Well, Chris, we're running short on time, my friend. I appreciate you calling in for GRC Curtain Call, and we'll definitely have to have you back on as we get closer to Atlantic City, because there's a lot we haven't had a chance to talk about today that I really want to catch up with you about.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I go, the GRC Lights show from Indianapolis is airing tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. on the NBC Sports Network. We've got the supercar action up on our Facebook page right now if anybody missed that. But, then we'll move on to Atlantic City, and we're excited to have a pretty close championship battle. We're just looking forward to the rest of the year.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Chris. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound of the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to kind of talk about the weekend up there at the Subaru Mount Washington Hill Climb. Thanks to all of you guys who tuned in to my at 3 broadcasts from up there on the mountain over the course of the weekend for the hill climb. Kind of previewed things and in the middle of the day had some stuff on some runs and then kind of recap things. So obviously by now you guys know, if you follow on social media, me or just about anybody else in motorsports or action motorsports, Travis Pastrana, the new record holder there at the Mount Washington Hill Climb. And I got to tell you, man, it was a wild one. So, some of you probably don't know what Mount Washington is. So it is the highest mountain in the Northeast, right? It's actually such a special mountain, and it's not super tall. I think it's a little shy of 7,000 feet. But what makes it special is the weather conditions that they have there are second to none anywhere on Earth. The highest recorded wind speed ever on Earth was recorded on top of Mount Washington at 230 miles an hour. Yeah, you read that. You heard that right. 230 miles an hour. It's like full-blown tornado wind speeds up there on top of the mountain, over tornado wind speeds. But anyways, they've got a weather observatory up there and stuff. I went up to the mountain on race day, and I watched first passes, got to see Travis break the record for the first time. It was crazy. It was like 80 degrees down at the base of the mountain, sunny, and not a lick of wind. Actually humid. Went up on top of the mountain. It was like 40 degrees with 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it was absolutely brutal weather conditions, and it took all of 10, 15 minutes to drive up there. So that's the crazy swing in weather they've got at Mount Washington. It's just it's gnarly, but this event is gnarly. It's a hill climb like Pikes Peak. It's partially paved, partially dirt or gravel for you rally purists, right? But what makes it special is it's only every 3 years. So they had this in 2014. They had it this year. Next one is in 2020. So they only have it every 3 years. So it's not like Pikes Peak where you get a chance every year to come and do it. And I got to tell you, this is narrower than Pikes Peak, and it's gnarlier than Pikes Peak. It's not quite as tall, but not quite as tall, but it's narrower. The roads are a little sketchier. It takes some cojones. It takes some balls to run this event. Let me tell you, just driving up there in the rental car mine was blown. So anyways, Travis Pastrana had the record at one point. David Higgins broke it in 2014. And so 3 years later they come back. Subaru gives them identical cars. Basically they're rally cars, but they cut 500 pounds out of them. They added 300 horsepower, 600 plus horsepower in these cars, and let them attack the mountain. No co-driver, and they got to attack the mountain. And through practice, Travis was a little second ahead of Higgins, and you don't get to practice on the whole mountain. You get to do the lower half some days, upper half other days, right? So you don't really know how overall you're faring, right? So through practice he had a slight lead. They got on the mountain on race day on day number one, or on run number one, because you get 2 passes. And David had Travis by an edge. David ended up clipping a rock and sliding off the hill, did a fancy little pirouette, and kind of slid off the hill. It was a place that actually had some runoff, but it was enough that by the time they pulled his car, he slid down about 5-10 feet. By the time they pulled him up, there wasn't enough time for him to make a second run. Travis beats the record his first run by like 20 seconds. And so he's like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to phone it in. I'm going to have some fun, on the second run because David wasn't running. Well, Travis goes on the second run and actually beats his record again by a second and a half. So he upped himself after saying he was just going to have a little fun. typical Travis Pastrana style, right? So, it was that kind of day. Anybody that saw this or sees the pictures and video, your mind's going to be blown with what Travis was able to accomplish. But the way I did this interview, I've got an exclusive that you guys haven't heard. Even if you listened in this weekend to my broadcast, you haven't heard this interview, right? So this is about 6 minutes long, and I took 3 different clips. One was at practice. One was right after he broke the first record. And then the second one is at the end of the event after he broke his record again. So it's going to be 3 different clips with Travis Pastrana, and it kind of takes you through the entire weekend and what was going on with him. And I had the opportunity to tag along with my good friends at Subaru who invited me up there, and it was just truly a remarkable event. Had a lot of fun up there. But I think you're going to enjoy these interviews, and, I mean, it's typical Travis Pastrana, in the raw, and you never know what he's going to say. But we'll be back after we air these interviews here with Travis Pastrana. All right, we got Travis Pastrana here, just getting done with a practice round today, first of 2 practice rounds. I mean, take us through so far. You've had a couple of runs, one at the lower part, a couple at the upper part. I mean, how's this weekend been treating you?
Oh, ridiculous. This new Subaru is it's a beast. I mean, it's kind of our same rally car, but we took all the extra weight out of it, the co-driver's seat, everything that we could. We got 500 pounds less than what we rally with, and we added 250 horsepower. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. So we had a run up the hill yesterday at the top, and now a run up this morning. Well, we had 2 runs yesterday at the top and 1 run this morning. So we combined the 2 times, and it was 30 seconds faster than the record. So let's hope this weather holds off. It is so scary. It turned all the corners that were, oh, yeah, that's easy, Max, into, like, puckered, couldn't pull a grease needle out of your butthole with John Deere tractor kind of Max. It's just not quite the same.
So, I mean, that being said, I mean, I know they've added some new asphalt up at the top of the mountain. I mean, how different is the mountain than, the last time you were here when you had the record?
Well, back when I had the record a while ago, it was, it's almost identical. There's newer pavement, which makes it a little stickier up top. Should be, maybe a second or 2 faster. I felt like last time we were here in 2014, the dirt had better traction, but it looks like we're going to get some rain today. So maybe it could be better traction, especially for that second run, depending on how much rain they get. Dries pretty quick up there. So, really looking forward to a good race. David and I are super close. As always, there's a lot of other guys with some awesome hill climb machines, so it's going to be interesting.
So no doubt the record's going to be broke this weekend?
Oh, there's a doubt. I mean, everyone could just fly off the cliff. We're going a lot faster. We're going to try not to do that, though.
All right. Thanks a lot, Travis.
Thank you.
All right. We got Travis Pastrana here just breaking the record here at Mount Washington. How was the run, man? They looked hairball coming over the finish line.
Terrifying, really. No, these cars are so amazing. They work so great. They're basically the car we ran last time, but half the weight and double the horsepower. So thank you, Subaru, for scaring the absolute dog piss out of me. This was amazing. The tires it was funny. David chose a different set of tires. It would have been interesting to see how it panned out. These were grippy from turn 1, and the bottom half felt just amazing. The top half, I thought we were on dirt the rest of the way up after the dirt because they got super warm, and we were just sliding everywhere, which I love, too, but it's scary at speeds, so yeah.
So here, putting you on the spot with all these people around, you've done some scary stuff in your life. How's this rank up there with it?
Oh, it's one of the dumbest things. I mean, roll cage is great, except we're averaging about 80 miles an hour up this hill. Like they were like, yeah, top speed at the bottom half, which is faster on the top with bigger exposure. They're like, top speed was 138 miles an hour. I was like, I didn't need to know that. I honestly, absolutely not. But yeah, so these cars are amazing. I mean, 138 is not that fast, but anyone that's driven up this road, like the bottom half of this road, it's just crazy. So.
All right. Thanks a lot, Travis.
Thank you. Hopefully David gets that car. I don't know. I didn't see him off, so that's usually not a great sign, but we'll see. He's always okay, though. So.
All right. We got Travis Pastrana here. Festivities are over, and talked to you on top of the mountain. You broke the record. You said, hey, we're just going to have a little bit of fun, and then you go out and you break your record again, man.
Well, what's really interesting about that is I think I was like 5 seconds slower at the split at the bottom. They turned down my horsepower by about 50 horsepower. So a little less boost, and I just drove really smooth in the first half, and then the top half, our tires were so much better from just not cold trickling them that we made up like 8 seconds on the top half. So there's definitely more time to be had out the mountain, but it was just such an awesome day, such an amazing car, and either way we had a lot of fun, so it was pretty rad.
Well, and compare this one. I know, we talked about it earlier in the weekend, but, to the last time you held the record. I mean, what's the difference in these cars? I mean,
it's not even close. These is before we were going up in basically a rally spec, which is 300 pounds more, which on this steep of a hill is a huge difference. Plus no co-driver, which is another 150 pounds in the seat and whatever. And then you added 250 horsepower. So it made the mountain a completely different beast because instead of just being, you're like, I need this corner and then it's wide open to this corner. No, every corner was, these things, the wheels were sliding. I could see my marks from the bottom to the top. I could see exactly what line I drove because it was spinning the entire way for the 8 miles up for the first run.
Well, congrats on the win. You're going to be back here in 3 years?
Oh, I hope so, man. I actually hope a lot of other guys come out. It would be, usually this is not a last-minute event, but they say, "Oh, we're going to do it this year." So now with 3 years' notice, and this is the last real hill climb in the U.S. with dirt, with really narrow roads. I mean, Pikes Peak is fantastic. It's awesome, but it's a really wide road. This one is a true driver's road. Definitely a lot of fun. It's it's half the distance of Pikes Peak, but it's double the corners.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Travis.
Thank you.
And that was Travis Pastrana after his after, before, and during his world record, or runs up the Mount Washington Auto Road, and I think he said it right. It's the last true hill climb event in in the United States. And that's not discrediting Pikes Peak and how phenomenally awesome that event is. This is just a bit narrower. It's a little bit more hairball, and and it takes a special kind of person to want to run up this. I mean, consequences are bad at Pikes Peak. Consequences are worse here. But congrats goes out to him. Like we said, he beat David Higgins' record, then turned around and beat his own record on his second pass-through. Had a total time of 5:44.72. That ended up being the new stamp on the mountain. But the interesting note, even second and third, who had remarkable times, and fourth, they didn't beat David Higgins' previous record either. So that tells you how strong that original record was of David Higgins that he set 3 years ago. I mean, it really is, it really is amazing, that it stood up. And we had some legit competition. Obviously, Pastrana first overall had Dan Novembre with a custom-built car. He was there, but, he was still about 45 seconds back at Travis at 6:26. And then we had Todd Cook with a Wells Coyote, 6:28, and then a 6:29 set by Spencer Steele in a Wells Coyote. And then Will Washburn, he finished up in fifth outright with a 6:32. Also give a shout out to Kevin Wesley in a two-wheel drive Fiat, finishing up sixth outright, and then my good friend Lachlan O'Sullivan, seventh outright in a Subaru. So, man, good event, lots of fun. I know Launch Control was up there filming. There's going to be a lot of content produced out of this. I'm telling you, when you see this in-car footage and this aerial footage of Pastrana, your mind is going to be blown. Be looking for that Launch Control. Speaking of Launch Control, obviously it drops every Wednesday currently, so you can get those on YouTube or on Facebook video over there at SRT USA and check out them for even more content from this event. But lots of fun up there at the Mount Washington Auto Road, the 2017 Subaru Mount Washington Hill Climb to the clouds. Hopefully I'll be back there in 3 years, 2020. I'm hoping that I've actually got something to race up there. I got some stuff working in my brain, so maybe I'll go up there and race that event in 3 years. We'll see. It's a long haul from the West Coast to Mount Washington, but I'd definitely be willing to give it a try if I can get the proper car to go and do it. But we're going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We come back, we get a Dirtfish Rally Report. Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame announced their inductees this year. We got Joe Duncan with X Games calling in, and we got a lot of stuff that Amy Hood and I are going to tackle in the second hour. All that and more on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert dunes or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest and hands hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Honey, Twister of Treasure is at Blue Water Resort and Casino for a chance to grab $2,500 in cash through August 30th.
Sundays from 3 till 5 and Wednesdays from 6 till 8 p.m. Participants are drawn for a chance to enter the Twister of Treasure money machine.
Count me in to enter the Twister of Treasure for a chance to grab the cash.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
The hottest slots, table game. Midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, bringing you a little news coming out of the off-road world. We've got Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame announcing their 2017 class. And stoked to see Baja Bob Gordon, one of the inductees, the late father of Robbie Gordon, definitely deserving off-road desert racing legend. I don't know how many Baja 1000 wins he's got to his credit, but just a phenomenally talented driver, and he's accomplished a lot. Stoked to see him in there. Also got Dave Eakins, motorcycle racing pioneer, setting records at the Mexican 1000, which today became the Baja 1000. He's going in, definitely rightfully so. And then we've got Cliff Flannery. You guys know the last name Flannery if you know short course, but it's been president of Crandon International Off-Road Raceway, kept that event running and at that elite level that it is for some time. He's well-deserving. And then another guy, Bill Savage, off-road innovator. Bill Savage has he served as, the tech director of SCORE for countless years under Sal Fish. But he's also one of the he's kind of like a mad scientist when it comes to building off-road race vehicles, and so he definitely deserves to be in the Off-Road Hall of Fame as well. I'm just looking through his stuff. There's some stuff about Bill Savage I didn't even know about him working with NASA on some of the lunar rovers and things like that. So definitely some good stuff there. Bill Savage also definitely deserving to be in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. So those are your Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame inductees for 2017. And more information is going to trickle out from Ormhoff as we get closer to that induction ceremony at SEMA. We're going to be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, bringing you a Dirtfish Rally report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. You can find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And I got to ask you, Amy, I don't know, have you actually been to a Red Bull Global Rallycross event? I know you watched them on TV, but have you actually been out to an event on ground sometime in the last 4 or 5 years?
Never once. I mean, they just recently started coming up to Canada.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they'll make their way to the west. I don't even know what coast I'm on. I'm considered central flat prairies. But I feel like it'd be a pretty sweet place to hold one. Winnipeg, Manitoba. We do have lots of enthusiasts actually up my way. But no, I'd love to. I'm dying to check that stuff out.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think I might be going out to the one in Los Angeles in October. There's actually, I just talked with Subaru, and there's a thing called SubiFest that happens the day after Red Bull Global Rallycross, and it's basically all the Subaru enthusiasts from around the country gather at this one big, massive event at the NASCAR track at Fontana Speedway, and so they asked me to come out to that. I'm like, oh, that like Bucky Lassick goes, and like all these action sports people. Pastrana will probably go. Like it's a big like mesh of Subaru enthusiasts. So might head out to that, and then they've got the race in LA the day before, so I'd probably take that in as well. So I don't know if you're on the West Coast, it'd be a fun one to go out to. That's like middle October or something like that. So I don't know. Pencil it into your calendar.
Well, keep me posted.
Yeah, we definitely will for sure.
No, keep me posted. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. But Dirtfish Rally Report. We got a short segment here brought to you by our friends at Dirtfish. Obviously, Indianapolis Red Bull Global Rallycross racing over the weekend. Scott Speed taking the win. Tanner Faust in second. It was an Andretti 1 and 2. And then Lowenbro Motorsports, Steve Arpin finishing up in third with that final podium spot. And then moving on to the GRC Lights, it was Christian Brooks with Dreyer and Reinbold Racing taking a win, Cyril Raymond and Travis Pecoy rounding out your podium there. My boys at Dirtfish, James Rimmer and Connor Martell finishing 5th and 6th in that final. Having a solid effort this season by our friends at Dirtfish. And Subaru having a few struggles in the main event at Indianapolis with Patrick Sandell 7th and Chris Atkinson finishing up in 8th. But next up for Red Bull Global Rallycross, Atlantic City, and actually next up for World Rallycross, we've got the event up there at Troy River in Quebec, Canada, coming up in August. So lots of Rallycross coming at you the next month. And that's about it for our Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, waiting on Joe Duncan. I don't know what's going on. He's on the ground at the X Games. He's shooting me pictures of the X Games medals because he's hanging out with a bunch of X Games medals. I don't know, like I'm feeling like we should be at X Games right now this week. Like I've had so many people reach out to me and go, "Hey, are you guys airing live from X Games?" Like I feel like we're failing this week or something. Like I feel like I'm a failure because people are expecting us to be there. I don't know. It's
I know, and it's really going to be an epic, such an epic X Games this year in Minneapolis. Like I'm jealous. It's so hard to get everything in. We talk about it all the time. We always have big plans. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that, and then there's just so much going on. But I'm just so excited to, see the recap from the X Games flat tracking. You kind of sent me an email. We want to talk about it. But when I looked into it and looked at the lineup, it was absolutely incredible. And one of my good friends, Corey Texter, is going to be racing. And, I'm just so excited to see how it all plays out. And there's some super fast guys. It's, the fastest of fastest in that division. Like, it's going to be an epic race. I can't wait. And we got to bring Corey on, too. He's a super stand-up guy, and he has a lot going on. And he has a very interesting career. Corey's older brother of Shayna Texter, who's obviously a super decorative flat tracking star herself. But he actually took time, gave up, his dreams and his career to help fund Shayna's career.
Wow.
And, the father passed away, and they're having a really hard time for both of them racing. So Corey, when does this happen? Actually, saying this gives me goosebumps, but Corey actually hung up his dreams and, worked really hard so, that Shayna could chase her dreams, and he helped fund her and support her, and that's just an incredible story. And we really got to bring Corey on after this weekend and, bring him back on for Tuesday to recap. But what an amazing dude, and they have a pretty unique bond of, brother and sisters going after 2 flat tracking dreams. It's amazing. And, now he's lining up in X Games. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's so many cool stories with flat track and X Games. I know we're going to get into that in the next segment. I don't know, we might do it now if Joe doesn't call in. He probably got hung up there at X Games. But, yeah, I know even like the Mees family. I mean, you've got, but Jared Mees, he's got a gold medal. He lost the gold medal on like the last turn 2 years ago, came back, got his redemption last year. And so, there's so many stories with flat track, and I know I was trying to get Jared on this week. I think he's going to be maybe next week too. But flat track, like it's something in the past 2 or 3 years, I feel like it's got a resurgence in the United States. Like, it's been around forever. It's one of the oldest forms of motorsports, or motorcycle racing. But I feel like in the last 2 or 3 years, and X Games may have had a lot to do with it, but I feel like, man, it's had a resurgence. These guys are signing deals with Rockstar and Monster Energy now, and it's like become a big deal again, which is really rad.
Well, I feel like, everything is all about rock and roll again. It's always a full circle, and I think, the vintage and classicness of the Harley-Davidson flat track racing, and the whole Hoonigan style, and that kind of Tyler Behrman and Durham kind of brought that back as well. That freewheeler lifestyle, where it's the free riding and vintage classic bikes and everything. It's making a comeback, and it's the cool thing now. And it always kind of was cool for me. Obviously, I love vintage classic bikes and old school motorcycle racing, but just even with like Chop Shops and the building of all these motorcycles on TV and all the TV shows, and it's just becoming such a niche and like this whole lifestyle brand now. It's really, really cool, and I love it. And I'm, even Sarah Price, she hopped on a bike and she did some Harley-Davidson flat tracking, and everybody wants to get into it. Everyone wants to try it because it's the cool thing to do now. But yeah, definitely X Games probably help boost that up. But I think it's more of the lifestyle behind it, and the image, and it's rad. If you can jump on one of those bikes and give her, it's cool.
Yeah, well, it seems like everybody's into it. I know, like one of my, I know you know her really well, but she's got one of the raddest bikes, and it just popped up in my feed because I check things throughout the show. And as we're talking about this picture from Steffi Sabatka pops up, and she's got the raddest freaking bike, but it's like she took it and she chopped it, and it looks like a flat track bike, and it's just like the raddest bike, but it's like that style of bike is coming back, and it's like, it's just like you said, it's a freewheeling lifestyle, and it's just, I don't know, she's got this Sportster that's so doctored up, and it doesn't even look like a Sportster, but it's just the raddest bike, and it's like I would so buy it from her right now if she'd sell it.
Well, that's what actually my dad and I are actually looking to find something online that we can like customize for the street. I'm looking to get, I've been driving the Yamaha R3 Crotch Rocket.
Yeah.
Love the bike, it's great, but just not really my style. Like, I'm looking for that kind of classic cafe racer that I can boom around on the streets of Winnipeg. But I would love that kind of bike. But I don't really know too much about that kind of industry. And when I did flat track, I did it on a dirt bike, so I'd really love to be able to get the opportunity to ride one of the Harley-Davidson flat tracking bikes. So it'd be a lot of fun.
It's funny because even like Ducati, I'm a big Ducati fan, and they're known for super bikes and MotoGP bikes, and they're like the Ferrari of motorcycles. They always have been. Ducatis are just held to a different standard.
Yeah.
But they've been known for super bikes forever. But now they're going into this whole deal, and they've actually got like this Ducati bike, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's actually like a street bike / dirt bike, but it's so rad and Mad Max looking. But I'm like, you've got Ducati, which is basically like the Ferrari of the motorcycle world, now getting into like the dirty like Mad Max looking bikes, and I think that's saying something when you've got Ducati jumping into that segment. I'm like, anybody else does it, it's one thing, but Ducati does, it's like, all right, we got to take notice because there's something going on here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I like how you said they're like the Cadillac of motorcycles or whatever you said it was. But it's, all these brands are trying to kind of get involved in the whole flat tracking, the Harley-Davidson scene. But one of my friends from down here, his name is Jason. He has a Chop Shop. I believe it might be in Tampa, but I am dying to get out there. He's like, get yourself a bike. Let's put it in the shop. We'll pimp it out. I need to get involved in this subculture. I'm just, ugh. But I feel like I'm going to become one of those girls, if I kind of jump on board that bandwagon, I'm going to be fully invested. Everything in my wardrobe is going to be leather and chaps and, skull fringes. And it's going to devour me. So I just got to be careful.
Yeah, you gotta tread cautiously, right? Because it's one of those things where it sucks you in, and then all of a sudden, every paycheck you get's going to that, and it's like, hey, I gotta stop this. I'm going broke because of this hobby. It's like off road, dirt bikes, anything. I don't know. It's it's. Yeah, no, I'm excited about Flat Track at X Games. I know we're going to talk about that in the next segment, but lots of cool stuff going on there in Minneapolis. I'm just pumped on the event as a whole. I think it was I don't know. I felt like X Games needed a breath of fresh air, and I felt like Los Angeles was played out. Nobody's even going there anymore. They were taking it for granted, and then I had a good stint at Circuit of the Americas. And, it was just time to move, and I think it's kind of reinvigorated X Games. Because there was a couple years there where X Games kind of really – I didn't know if the thing as a whole was just going to go away because it kind of lost interest. But I feel like it's had a resurgence now, especially this Minneapolis thing. I know you've spent a bunch of time in Minnesota. I definitely have too. And I think it's there's a big action sports and motorsports scene there that people don't know about because all you ever hear about is Florida and Los Angeles,
No, absolutely. And, the cool thing about Minnesota is we got both. We have winter and summer motorsports enthusiasts. Minnesota is a huge snowmobile community. FXR is just north of the border, huge sponsor of, all things snow related. Let's just say that. Huge motocross scene. And home of Levi Valley, actually home of Ryan Dungey, the Martins. It's such Minnesota's a huge action sports community. I'm talking motorsports here because obviously that's what I know, but I know the BMX scene is big as well in skateboarding, and downtown Minneapolis is going to be such an amazing venue for fans, and I'm super excited. I mean, it's obviously extremely close to Winnipeg. Too bad I'm in Florida right now because I would drive there. But, I think they're going to have an amazing turnout. And I think, we talk about the athletes, but I think the fans and really the culture that's going to come out and, support X Games in Minneapolis is going to be incredible. And I'm really excited to hear kind of the feedback and what they think of having X Games. I like to call Minnesota one of my hometowns. Winnipeg Mini is kind of where I say I reside from. So.
Yep. All right, well, we got to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. More X Games after the break. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. We had some interesting shenanigans happen over the break, and I've kind of been watching this play out on social media the past couple of days, so I got to bring it up because she just posted to Twitter. So my good friend Caitlin Ansari, she's a model. She's got a couple 100,000 Instagram followers. She's been on the show, 3-4 times. She did a photo shoot in my trophy truck a couple years ago for Tube Art Films. Anyway, she's just good people. She's worked for Monster. She's worked for a bunch of different tire companies. I mean, she knows motorsports. She's just good people. Anyways, I've always liked her because she's actually had a kid, come back to modeling, thought her career was over. Now she does a lot of blogging and very positive. Actually, a lot of stuff she posts about is really similar to what you post about, Amy. But anyways, she's got a son, and that's kind of her world. And then she still models and things like that. But she's kind of she's just good people. But somebody took her photos, right? They started a Facebook account using her photos, posing as her. And she tried to get it shut down, and they wouldn't respond, right? So now it's gone so far now they're posting pictures that she has posted to social media of her son and saying that her son is starving and to please send money to like a PayPal account, right? So now... Yeah, no kidding. So now somehow through Facebook and social media and whatever, Caitlin has this woman's cell phone number, and she just posted it to her Twitter account. And Caitlin is a good person. She's got a heart of gold. Like literally, she's good people. And and this is so out of character for her, but she just posted to Twitter. She goes, "Here's her number. If you love me, please send her a nasty message." And she posted the cell phone number. Now I'm not going to put out the lady's cell phone number on the radio show, but go to @Caitlin on Twitter if you want to, because I know we got a massive amount of people that listen to this show that are Caitlin Ansari fans. You can go and send them a message if you want to. But I'm watching this play out, and I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous that a woman would do that. You don't steal somebody's pictures and then open up a fake account and then ask for money saying that your son is starving. I mean, like, seriously, people, how... That's as bad as the people a couple years ago that started a GoFundMe because they wanted to pimp out their truck. Like, I don't know, Amy. What's this world coming to?
This takes it to a whole new level. I can't even fathom that. That's insane. Oh my goodness! Like that poor woman. That it's all huge invasion of privacy to associate anybody else's kids with anything. Like stealing any picture of someone else's kid is just messed up. And then trying to ask for money that the kid is starving. Like, oh my, I can't even wrap my head around that. But I really hope that social media and like Facebook or whatever jumps on this right away, because that's just. Yeah,
she's been in contact with
people who have to.
Yeah, I think she's been in contact with Facebook trying to get it shut down, and hopefully they do the right thing and shut it down. And just like it's just crazy. I don't know, just a sad situation. But I was following this along, and I saw that. I'm like, I got to give Caitlin a shout out here because, yeah, it's just like you said. I don't even know what to say. It's bad. So yeah. So, anyways, let's talk.
Yeah, I really have words. Yeah, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Go,
so.
Caitlin.
Go Caitlin, but yeah, X Games. So we got to talk about some X Games. Duncan just texted me. I'll tell him he's on the floor with equipment at X Games. I'm like, we're gonna talk X Games. Just call in Joe Duncan. Like seriously, we got like these segments booked for X Games. Call him, man. But no, we talked a little bit about flat track. I want to talk about some freestyle stuff, though, Amy. I mean, have you been watching the freestyle motocross world? I mean, they got so many events now. We got Step Up. I said it in my X Games preview show on the podcast. Like Renner, this is his event. He had an off year last year and finished in like 6th. And he said that the lip and. He said that he showed up and he says the way they had it set up, he's like, I knew I wasn't going to do well. But Renner's got, like 6 gold medals in Step Up? I mean, you got to think like he's the dude, right? Until somebody steps up and really beats him.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely Renner's the dude for Step Up. I'm just trying to look up at the lineup here, to see what riders are riding in similar events right now. But
I know Harry Bink took
Renner.
Yeah. I'm just looking at like freestyle, and they've got some stuff like quarter pipe high air. In the past, it was like quarter pipe freestyle. Now it's just like quarter pipe high air. So I don't even know how to predict that. But I mean, I'm looking at freestyle. I mean, gosh, you got Josh Sheehan. I mean, he's just an animal. Mr. Double and triple backflip. So I think Sherwood's she's been riding awesome. Taka, you never know what he's gonna, he's nuts. You never know what he's gonna bring out of his back pocket that he's been practicing. Harry Bink, I think he took a win at Nitro World Games recently. So he's got some skills. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to. You never know who's been practicing something at home in their foam pit and at their private place, and they haven't dropped anything on Instagram or social media. Like, there's a guy that's got a trick that nobody is expecting that's been practicing in private and hasn't shared anything, and he's going to show up at X and just blow minds, right?
And typically that, honestly, is Taka. Taka and Levi Sherwood, I think, for a Moto X best trick are really going to be the black horses here that pull something out of the bag that is just going to be, above and beyond everybody else. It's a great lineup, but Taka and Levi are such. Levi Sherwood is known for his extensions and just his flexibility and the visual aesthetics of his tricks are just kind of above and beyond.
He stretches them bigger than anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. So I think with best trick, and Taka is just an animal and a wild man and very unpredictable. And I think Taka and Levi for best trick is going to really blow everybody out of the water. But then again, like you said, you don't know who's been practicing, behind closed doors in their own personal foam pit. I know Harry Bink, he's been on X Games tour, so how much additional practicing he can get in, I'm not too sure. But then also we have Best Whip, who let's be honest, if Jared McNeil doesn't win, I'm gonna have to send him a very angry text message because that guy is kind of.
I think he's won like
Tom Parsons. I can't leave out Tom Parsons. He won last year. Was completely, he's almost kind of like a little bit of a grandpa. He doesn't do any events. He just free rides, in the hills. And he's such a quiet, cool, calm, collective dude, here. And then Tom throws down last year and wins Best Whip, and everybody was super pumped for him. So, and actually, sorry, I think that was at Monster Energy Cup. But yeah, it's going to definitely come between Jared McNeil and Tom Parsons for Best Whip. And then freestyle, that's definitely anybody games. We have Adam Jones in the mix. So I really think that we're going to see a lot of interesting stuff in freestyle too. So it's going to be so exciting. I love all the different events. I love that, there's not just one moto event anymore or two. Like, we have a quarter pipe and Step Up So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So how about we got to give a shout out. He's actually in 2 events this year, Best Whip and Quarter Pipe Hire. He's been on the show in the past. I know he's a friend of yours, Tyler Berryman. What do we expect out of him, Hood? He's kind of like dark horse, you think?
I mean, and Tyler's one of my good friends, so obviously I want to see him do really good. I think his competition is pretty stiff. I know he's been practicing, but I also know he's been battling some injuries. But just the fact that Tyler made it in, that's great on him. He's a young gun as well, so he's up against a lot of seasoned vet who's competed in X Games, many years now. So I would like to see how he holds his own, but I think he's going to do nothing but, he'll be great either way. But yeah, it's cool to see, my friends. And it's cool because actually Tyler comes from a moto background. Like the kid started in dirt bike racing. He's not, I remember being at the Outdoor Nationals years ago, like maybe 5-6 years ago, and Tyler was just like a little kid pretty much. And, now he's a, huge free rider, part of the freewheeler, and really made a brand for himself, through his social media and his free riding and in his image. So he's one of those athletes that, we talk about. You don't need to be the most decorative, have the most championships and career accomplishments under your belt, but he's made such a name for himself, and, through social media and how he brands, what he does. And it's really, really unique. He's had a pretty cool career path that way. So Tyler will do great.
Yeah,
I just hope everyone stays safe. Best trick always scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And, this is where people push the limits. So.
Yeah, it's best trick is always. It's one of those you get to know these guys, and when you don't know them personally. You watch on TV and it's like, they crashed, and it's like, bummer, But when you know them personally, like me, it's like it takes your breath away every time they do attempt something, because you're like, man, you just hope they walk away. It's like you've got that personal investment into these guys now, and it's just makes it tough. But we got to take a short break.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to take a short break. We come back. We got some probably chat some more on X Games. Got the SP Awards to talk about. Pro Motocross. We haven't even touched base on that yet today. Lots to talk about here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris Razor XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. I've been talking some X Games, and I just got a tweet from my friend Caitlin. She goes, "Yes, you guys rock." So we must have done something right, Hood. Oh, man. But, yeah, so...
Good.
Yeah.
Get rid of that creepy stalker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we've been talking some X Games, some other big news coming out of ESPN. So every year they've got the ESPY Awards. And ESPY Awards, the only ones I care about are male action sports athlete, female action sports athlete, and then they've got race car driver. And so in action sports athlete, they've always in the past put motocross and supercross into those categories. And actually for the past 3 years, I think, Ryan Dungey has been pretty much just the perennial winner. Well, this year he wasn't. What do we got here? Is this Joe Duncan calling in? Oh, maybe. We'll talk to Joe here. Hold on. We'll go back to the ESPYs. Hey, Joe Duncan, you on the line, buddy?
Jim Beaver, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm here with Amy Hood. We've been talking X Games for 30 minutes, and we were just moving on, and then you call in. So I'm like, all right, we're going to circle back to X Games because Joe Duncan's on the floor there.
We are on the floor. Sorry, it was a little late. We were stuck in some equipment. We had excavators moving out of one building and other equipment moving back in. So we're just kind of stuck in the middle there. But wow, what an amazing setup here at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
these course builders, unreal.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, in the past, X Games, whether it be in LA or in, Circuit of the Americas, it's been a really expansive layout. Here, they're packing everything into one stadium. I mean, how is that working, Joe?
Well, when you pack it into a brand new $1.1 billion stadium, it's a little tight, but you know what? It sure looks amazing. I think I sent you some great pictures. If you go to xgames.com or checking the X Games social media sites, there is all kinds of photos and videos. The practice for BMX Dirt kicked off here this morning, and wow, what an amazing setup they have going on, and to kick off the opening of X Games here.
Yeah, so I think things kick off. I think the only event off-site is flat track this year, right? And they're doing that at Mall of America?
Yeah, flat track kicks us off on Thursday night with the moto stuff down at Mall of America, and then everything else starting on Friday is down at the US Bank Stadium for motos, and then Thursday night there's one event. I think it's one of the park courses that are right out in front of this facility, and on Thursday, and then everything else is wham bam right inside the stadium all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with some amazing concerts right out in the park in front of the stadium and the interactive village here.
Yeah, well, and let me ask you this, because we don't have a whole lot of time, but you've been to a lot of X Games. I mean, you've been to Los Angeles, you've been to Circuit of the Americas, you've been obviously here in Minneapolis, you've been to all the Winter X Games. I mean, how do you think this one in this venue, what's the buzz? How do you think this ranks alongside all the ones of the past?
I've been to every X Games except for Rhode Island when it first started. Otherwise, I've been to at least one or multiple in each city it's been at. And, I mean, I know this is my hometown and everything, but you know what? The one thing everybody has said, from athletes to the crew to the X Games themselves, is what hospitality that this town, brings to everybody. They've been so welcomed. and everybody's so excited, to be here. And then again, you get the benefit of a brand new facility that was built for the Minnesota Vikings, and to have the stadium and the city to be a part of this event and welcome it the way they do. The athletes are pumped. Again, it goes right down to every single staff member that has come here, and I've worked with these people for 20 plus years, so to hear them come into our city and say how great it is when we've lived here, and I know your family's been in Minnesota, so they know Minnesota, but it's really great to see them recognize it. And the whole downtown here, a majority of it's been rebuilt in the last 10 years, and a lot more coming with the Super Bowl coming here. So it's just exciting. I mean, the layout down here, the everything under one roof, and a key under one roof. No cancellations due to weather. No high winds. No storms. No nothing.
Yeah, I think that's the key. I mean, the show will go on. It's it's not, you're not going to have the weather issues that face things in the past there at Circuit of the Americas and some of the other venues. But sounds like an awesome one. I will definitely be tuned in starting Thursday for Flat Track, and can't wait to have you back on air next week and recap, Joe.
Sounds great. Good to chat with you guys. I'm back to work.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe.
Have fun, man.
All right. That was.
Now that's someone who has a great job, though.
Yeah.
So going back to work at the X Games. I mean, he's having fun. He always sounds like a little kid in a candy store. Like, I mean, this is a grown man living his dreams. Playing with the biggest and baddest athletes at all these amazing events. Like, Joe is one lucky guy.
Yeah, he and he's just like us. He's a grinder. It's making a living in motorsport.
Oh yeah,
is not motorsport and action sport is not easy. And people think that they think, and obviously you've got the Tony Hawks of the world and the Ryan Dungeys who are making lots of money and life is great. But for the rest of us, you, me, Joe Duncan, Sarah Price, Jolene Van Vliet, and countless moto guys. I mean, even guys like Tyler Berryman that we were talking about. It's not an easy road. I mean, we get by, but it's not easy. It's a grind,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Joe is definitely no stranger to hard work, and he's always up to something. Like, he's always doing something. Like, you always give him a call, and he's on the floor of some event, or like at this race doing this thing with this athlete. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, for sure. So going back to ESPN, the ESPY Awards, I think we talked about it a little bit last year after Ryan Dungey won Best Male Action Sports Athlete for like the millionth time, but this year it was different. So they've always thrown moto in, and I was looking at it, and you've got you've got skiers, you got Mark McMorris from snowboarding, John Florence, world champion surfer, Nyjah Houston. I mean, he's one of the best street skaters in the world. I don't know that he deserved to be thrown in there this year. I think there's some street skaters that might have had a better year than him because I do follow professional skateboarding. But, I mean, all of them are legit, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm looking at that going, I kind of feel like Eli Tomac, even though he didn't win the championship, I feel like he should have been thrown in there this year in male action sports athlete. The amount of wins he took in Supercross this year, and then now he's on a roll in outdoor, and and everything that's currently happening still is considered in the voting. Like, I feel like Eli Tomac, they're missing out. I think he should have been thrown in there. I don't know how your feelings on that.
Eli Tomac, maybe not so much. I mean, I think. Okay, so it's not just based on an American thing, right? Is it athletes from all over the world?
Oh, absolutely,
or
yeah.
Is it USA?
No, it's global athletes.
All over the world?
Yes.
Oh, well, perfect then, because and obviously I'm a little partial to this particular rider and everything, but just of what he has overcome and, obviously his past dominance, I think Ken Roxon should really be among those listed for best male athlete. And I think this too because of how he is changing kind of the game of motocross. Like, when he showed up in a suit to the press conference and, and talked about making this, professional as, the NBA and the NFL and everything. Like, I love, like, how Ken Roczen is really, paving the way for his career and those to follow. And I feel like he's changing the game of motocross. And, he's overcome such a horrific accident. And, all he posts about is like getting back on the bike and training. And, his mental game is like above and beyond anybody else. And I just think Ken Roczen should definitely and will definitely, obviously not this year, but I think in the years to come, he's going to be the Ryan Dungey and, win award after award.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
He's definitely a unique, right? And again, with him rolling into the press conference in a suit, and said he's going to be on the cover of this magazine and that magazine, and why can't motocross athletes take the professionalism as all these other professional sports? I just love that about him.
You know what my prediction for Roczen is? I think he's coming back, and next year he'll be the Supercross champion in 2018. Hands down, I think he's going to be the Supercross champ. I think, like you said, he's the Ryan Dungey, he's the Ryan Villapoto. He's the guy that is meant to fill those shoes, But I think next year he'll be in the running for, Action Sports Athlete of the Year. But I think they didn't put him in because I think he's got a bigger award next year that he's going to get nominated for by ESPN, and that's Best Comeback Athlete. He's going to be in there against, the NFL guys that blew out a knee and the baseball pitchers that blew out an arm. I think Ken Roczen is going to get lumped in with a Best Comeback Athlete of the Year next year, and I think he's going to win that. I'm making that prediction right now. I think what he's going to do next year is going to be blow minds with the way he comes back from this injury.
Oh, absolutely, and agree 200%. And I'm just saying right now, if he doesn't win that, I'm going to write them a nasty email because I just don't think that'd be right. Yes, I understand what football players go through with a blown-out knee. Yes, it sucks. But the guy is bionic and had, robo-arm, and he was supposed to lose his arm, okay? Probably one of the most horrific, accidents other than something that's gonna, that's left an athlete paralyzed. I think he just I think what Ken Roczen experienced definitely outshines any NFL's blown ACL or meniscus. Okay. Way gnarlier.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to skip over to Best Driver. Got some legit guys in there. Jimmy Johnson, yeah. I mean, we know he's won 1 million NASCAR championships. Some of these guys, I think they just throw them in there just because of the name, right? Martin Truex has had a pretty good run. Simon Pagenaud, he won IndyCar championship. Louis Hamilton, he's Louis Hamilton. But I know our friends over the Speed Freaks, they've been pimping him. Ron Capps, this guy has dominated drag racing. I'm not a massive drag racing fan, but this dude has dominated drag racing for a year. It's the first drag racer ever to be on this list. I think he definitely deserves it this year, so I do got to give a nod to him. But I think the one guy that's missing on here, and you look at what he's done over the past year, two guys actually, you could have either Tanner Faust or Scott Speed on here. Scott Speed won the GRC championship last year, 4 wins, 7 podiums out of 11 events. He's won an event already this year, but Tanner Faust last year, 4 wins, 7 podiums. Mm-hmm. This year already, he swept a couple of weekends last year. This year already, he's got 2 wins. He's leading the points. Not only that, but Tanner's done drifting in that time. He's done short course off-road. He's raced the Mint 400 with me. I think not to have Tanner Faust or Scott Speed on this list, it's a crime. These guys, I don't know. They're racing on TV every Sunday just like these others, and for them to just pass over them, I feel like one of them should be on the list because Andretti Volkswagen has dominated rally cross racing on TV for the past 2 years, hands down. So I don't know. That's my feelings on it. But we got to take a short break here, and Amy and I, we're going to wrap things up when we come back from the break on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than and Polaris in their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Book your midweek getaway today. Riverfront rooms starting at just $84.95 at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Our gaming floor is packed with the hottest slots, table games, poker, and bingo. Live entertainment, fine and casual dining, boat slips, movie theater, wakeboard island, and fun for all. Book your getaway stay at Blue Water Resort and Casino today. Sunday through Thursday room rates start at just $84.95 when booked online only at BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the right on the money.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Wrapping things up here on, I don't know, it was a fun show. We got to talk about all kinds of stuff, Hood. I don't know, sometimes we have so many guests we don't get to talk, but felt like we did a lot of talking today.
Yes, we did. Randomness, but I think it's always interesting. You know, we started off talking about fire ants, and it led into a discussion of what we got hit or bit or stung by on our, in our race machine. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, our show, you see those, those memes about people ADD, and it's like, oh, look at this. Oh, a squirrel. That's totally the show. Like, we're totally, all over the place. You never know what direction. I can have an outline and just throw it away after the first 5 minutes because you don't know what's going to happen. But
yeah,
lots of fun this weekend. Obviously, the big one, X Games. I'm going to be tuned in there. I think that's pretty much the standard what everybody's going to be watching. Now, is there Pro Moto this weekend, or is that taking a weekend off? I know we had it this past weekend. I can't remember if Moto's happening this weekend or not.
I can't even tell you if they're taking a weekend off. I'm not too sure. All I know is that there is a Millville the weekend after, and I'm actually going to be trying to head down and race there myself.
Oh, nice.
So I fly in on a Tuesday, and Ashley and I would head out and pin it down Wednesday evening, Thursday after work or something like that. And yeah, so it's going to be a super close call, but we're trying our best to make it happen.
Yeah, keep me in the loop on that one for sure. Obviously, we got episode 300 coming up. You guys, we want your guest ideas. We got 3 hours to fill with guests, so it's going to be a fun one. I'll be doing some stuff from the Polaris dealer show in 2 weeks, announcing the new Polaris RZR lineup. I'll be doing some interviews from the show floor, so make sure and check that out. Big shout out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF, Optimus, Terracross, and the Blue Water Water Resort and Casino. Me, I'm at JimBeaver15 on social media. Amy is at AmyHood71. Don't forget to rate, review, to subscribe to Project Action on Podcast One, as well as the Down and Dirty Radio Show. And that coupon code for Dirtfish Rally School, as always, is JB Dirtfish. And I don't know, you got anything before we leave, Hood?
No, just good luck to everybody at X Games. Stay safe, but be gnarly. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, we'll definitely have some winners from X Games on air next week. We are going to sign off here. Be safe. As always, game on.